If you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, a musician, an artist, singer, instrumentalist, all across creator, you have to start a YouTube channel today. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about all the whys and my story and what you can learn. Anyway, let's start with a little story time. And by the way, if you want to skip this, that's fine. I'm going to let you know right here where to go if you want to get to the whys. But first, I want to tell you, I've been a musician, an entrepreneur, have multiple businesses. I play several instruments. I think it's around six, seven. I've been a music producer. So I've been doing content for a while. And about 2.5 years ago, I got into podcast production. And before that, I treated YouTube like a place to show off my visual work. And that is a big no-no, because YouTube wants to know what you're about, what your niche is, what your subject matter, what your brand is, brand identity, and all these things. And I have done YouTube wrong for so long. I had jumping rope videos that gotten 60,000 views. I had guitar playing videos. I had documentary films. And YouTube was like, what are you doing here? What are you doing? We don't know what you're doing. We don't know who your audience is. Why am I saying this? You, as an artist, entrepreneur, creator, content creator, anything that you do, business owner, you have to answer the same questions for your business. Whenever you're starting a YouTube channel, the same exact questions. Who are you talking to? What stage of life are they in? What's their pain points? And yada yada. We'll talk more in depth those questions. But when I got into podcasting, I started my own podcast and I had a few principles in my mind. And because I started my podcast, I got into producing other people's podcasts. And that really narrowed my focus down to learn what is podcasting, what is YouTubing, and things like that. There were a couple of, I deep dived into it like crazy, like I always do when I want to learn something new. And I got vidIQ. I started looking hundreds, thousands of videos about YouTubing, the why, how to set it up, and things like that. And I didn't focus on my YouTube channel. I focused on other people's YouTube channels. I looked at it as an opportunity to learn while doing it. I think that's the best thing you can do. If you're just in the learning phase and you're not in any execution, that's the problem. And that was my problem with myself, my own content, because you can be good, but if you're not showing it to people, if you're not releasing, then nobody will know. Nobody will know. So perfectionism, you have to throw it in the garbage when you're starting anything, anytime, honestly. So I started producing this podcast called My Manhood Matters while I was doing my podcast. And then that podcast led me to produce Lead with Love. And then later on, I started producing another podcast called Don't Forget Your Pearls. And some of these, my role was the whole thing. So not only helping with ideas, but setting up the YouTube channel, finding tags, titles, and things like that. But also making the thumbnails, checking analytics, changing certain things, and just overall aiding. And I know you might be saying, but you haven't done it yourself. How can you know? How can you do it for other people? Valid question. I was applying stuff. I was applying knowledge I've learned in like 1,000 videos or 1,000 hours worth of videos. I was applying it. That's the biggest thing, because I learned that, if I only do it to myself, I'll see some form of success, whatever that means, And one of the things I, of course, learned is you have to have consistency in shooting times, consistency in releasing, consistency in type of thumbnails, brand consistency, who you're speaking to, where you're recording, how often you're releasing. I think I've said that before. Things like that. All of these matters. So fast forward end of 2025, and I've done a lot of different types of works. I've done, as you just heard, I've done podcasting. I've recorded about 100 episodes, and I got into repurposing, turning them into shorts, turning them into different types of content, all the different strategizing, and yet I haven't done that really for myself in the side of my music side. I've done it for my podcasting and all the other podcasts. And I've done ads, I've done weddings, I've done events, and that's all on my visual side. That has a whole different story of how I got into video work. Always been a visual character. That's the short story. But I will talk more about how I got into videography. So I've done music videos. I have all these massive amount of variety, or big variety of visual content that I have done. So I had a friend who's a great film composer. His name is Michael Whitaker. Great mentor, and he had built himself a coaching business, teaching business, film scoring. He called me and he knew what I was doing, and I helped him before in the past creating content for his course and things like that. And he was on my podcast, so check it out down there. I'll link the podcast in the description. And he asked me if I'd love to collaborate or co-teach a course, or co-create a course. And I'm like, of course, I'd love to. Like, it's a big freaking honor. Like, I've known him for more than 10, 15 years, and I looked up to him. He's one of the greatest keyboard players out there. He's a great keyboard player, great producer, film scorer, and he always challenged me, and we got into a lot of discussions, a lot of investment in time and things like that. Anything that you do, you have to invest time in it, learn the craft, and just do it. So we jotted down some topic ideas, and I started recording, and I realized that teaching something is different than knowing something, and there are different steps to doing it. So even though I know how to record, what cameras, what microphones, how to do this, how to edit, I have to kind of practice the presentation and all these things. And I have to also be comfortable talking to the camera like what I'm doing. And I saw myself record the same course like 50 times, and I was completely agitated because I just wanted to get better fast. But certain things you can't skip. You can't skip on the repetition of doing something, looking at it, learning from your mistakes, redoing it. I even tried, reading a teleprompter. I just sounded like I was reading, and I had to get into this zone. So I had to practice. I was researching, reading out loud, learning how to hook people in, hope it worked with you, and things like that. So sorry about that. So I probably recorded like 50 videos until I said to myself, let's revive my YouTube channel, because there's so much that I learned just by doing. Honestly, like, if you are somebody that likes to research, stop the research and start doing, because you learn to answer these questions for yourself. Who's your audience? Who are you trying to help? What are the problems that you're to solve? YouTube is a platform where people go to try to learn something, education. They have a problem like, I can't do this. What is. So eventually you learn these strategies to create different types of content. And one of the things you want to think about is what's your niche. Now, my niche in my music channel is music production, gear review, guitar review, Logic Pro, AI, and discussions of having and showcasing real workflows. I was doing videos on AI music production, and I showed that you still need to have musical ability to use these as a tool. But anyway, you basically treating YouTube as a platform to answer questions. So I would say there are three types of content: more broader content that answers a certain broad type of topic. For me, that was a certain logic topic or something that was like about this thing over here. And people search these, so you also want to make some research. And when you go to YouTube, then spend time in a research mindset, and look at thumbnails, look at titles, look at how the videos are structured. And one of the mentalisms that I try to have is try to better one little thing in every single video, because the habit of doing something, like creating, you gotta be in the habit of creating, and once you're in the habit of creating and you have a schedule, then research titles. How can you get people to be interested? Research thumbnails. Do that specifically, then change your thumbnails. Read analytics. Learn how to read analytics and things like that. And I would even say focus solely on YouTube long-form content. It can be extremely overwhelming to try to optimize for every single platform, because every platform, the person who is in it have a different desired outcome. But YouTube long form predominantly is a search place. People have a problem, people want to learn something, and you're there to solve it. So you got to stop asking the question, what topic am I passionate about? But more so, what topic are people looking for that's within my niche? So for me, I'm a music producer, I play multiple instruments, I look at a lot of AI music and things like that, and now I use YouTube as a research tool to see what topic is out there that's looked for, that is in my niche, that I can cover with my words. And I believe a lot of artists, business owners, entrepreneurs, creators, brands could benefit from having a well-structured, built YouTube channel, because it'll teach consistency, it'll teach repetition, it'll teach how to research thumbnails, titles, how to create better hooks, how to structure videos, how to sell better, how to connect with people, and how to create different types of content for different reasons. And other thing I've learned was not every video, not every type of video will give me the same type of views. Sometimes the views that I think I'm gonna get for a video that I'm passionate about is not gonna get a lot of views, but sometimes videos that I don't think gonna get a lot of views gets a lot more views than I thought. And some things are niche to the subject and it will get views over time. So I really recommend, I urge, if you're an entrepreneur, creator, business owner, musician, singer, songwriter, coach, that you create a YouTube channel and constantly do it. Have a structure, have research, and if you need any help, well, let me know. Because a lot of people look us up, and when they find content that builds trust, authority, shows behind the scenes and things like that on YouTube, on these platforms, it just builds better connection with a potential client and things like that. And you learn to speak in front of a camera, you learn technology more. But I do have to tell you, it can be overwhelming if you want to do everything the right way, like when you start, because it can be a lot of steps. And I have a whole room I set up. I will do another video where I discuss my room, my setup, and things like that. But the idea is that you gotta come up with a repeatable system that will help you create content continuously, and a system for publishing your videos, and the system to analyze what works, what worked, what didn't work, and what video you can do to help people. So system thinking is gonna be a very important skill to develop, and analyzing, and being analytical, So in another video, we're gonna talk about cameras, what cameras I suggest for artists, business owners, anybody nowadays, how to record better audio and things like that. In this channel, really, I want to be helpful for musicians, solopreneurs, artists, talk about the type of content. But this video, I really wanted to talk about YouTubing and what I personally learned from doing a lot of videos and how it helped me. Now I try to put out at least 1 to 3 videos, and everything is about one word: idea or concept. They are pretty much the same thing. If you have a good idea, a good concept, figure out how you're gonna get it out there. If you have a bad idea, a bad concept, no matter what tool you're using, it's not going to be as good. Especially now, there's AI and there's AI slop and things like that. AI slop is low, cheap quality content. Doesn't mean that you can't use AI or shouldn't use AI to create content. I've done it, and it can be a lot of work regardless of what tool you're using. So ask yourself, what's the concept? But try to find a repeatable system that doesn't overwhelm, and be consistent. Try to commit to the least amount of work. I know that sounds weird, but let's say it's 1 video a week, and let's say you have an easy setup. You can always upgrade your camera. You can always upgrade certain things. Try to have good lights. Like I have 6 lights, 7 lights here. I'm not using all of it. I'm not using all my cameras, but there are certain things that you can't upgrade, certain things that you can. I know that sounds kind of funny, but habit is what you need. Form good habits, and yeah, that's honestly my best recommendations. And this is why you should start doing a YouTube channel right now, today. So tomorrow, I challenge you to start your YouTube channel. And if you have questions, first go to YouTube. But if you don't want to, reach out to me. I love YouTube. I try to upload 1 to 3 times a week. I try to really think and research what topics I should cover that will help people. If you're a musician, artist, entrepreneur, hit like, share, and subscribe. And see you in the next video. Bye-bye.